Hey everyone.
Hello, hello.
Thanks for joining the MEA today.
What an amazing setup.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, when start? Oh no, we have a slight delay with the chat, or I'm looking at the Discord right now.
Yeah.
You're looking at the Twitch?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Twitch chat. Hey Twitch chat, nice to meet you. So Jerome, a couple of words of introduction. First off, congratulations on your second place for Destination Nikore, the Armageddon. It was super close. You almost made it. One game away.
Almost, but I have to say my opponent was better than me, far better than me. I lost 0-2 against him in the winner bracket. And when he picked the same deck as he had with the winner bracket, I lost 0-2 again. So yeah, I tried hard, tried to do a deck that would beat him, and couldn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for putting that up there. I'm really sad I lost. I really thought I could beat it, but a couple of words of introduction about you, I guess, because well, you've never been properly introduced to the team, so we are super glad to have you joined the team a couple of months ago. Some people have seen you in Paris. You come from Activision Blizzard, and you are a great addition to the team. Thanks for joining the project. Please give us a word of introduction about yourself.
So yeah, hey everyone, I'm Fabien. I'm a gamer since I'm 5. I played a lot of games, console, PC, mobile, free-to-plays. I've been a whale in some free-to-plays. We have a shared history about Warcraft 3 that we both love. We almost made the final interview being a game of Warcraft 3. Didn't happen.
Well, let's do that next time.
Yeah, let's do that. So you need to fire me and rehire me. Yeah, that's a good plan. And yeah, I was in charge of esports for Heroes of the Storm at Blizzard, and then I transitioned to a partnership and influencer role, working on all franchises for Europe. And I joined Cometh to help on the marketing side of things, also on the product and the esports and the tournaments. So very glad to be part of the team. Exciting project, exciting ecosystem. There's a lot of things to do, and I'm super excited.
Great. So it's a release day today. So well, we have a couple of talking points to share with you. First off, since last time we had an MEA, we passed the 500,000 game played mark. That's 500,000 of games that have been played on Cometh Battle. It's well, mind blowing. We did two times more of the last time in July. So players that are playing are super engaged, and there are a lot of players playing. We also have passed the 12,000 players, unique players that have played at least one game on Cometh Battle. For a beta, this is a super duper active beta. We also have passed the 2,000 rentals done. So again, thanks for trying this product super hard and beta testing it. In terms of monthly active players, we're super happy with the numbers as well. And I want to give a special shout out to all the participants to the players survey. Thank you for taking the time of taking those questions, of giving us feedback. Lots of the ideas that you gave us were already in the roadmap, so they have been prioritized to meet your expectations, and some of them have been also deployed in the new Cometh version that was deployed a couple of minutes ago. So we have a product update, and you're contributing a lot to the product, Fabien. So well, why don't you give us a little tour about what's new in the version 0.11?
All right. So for version 11, you can see that you now have profile pictures. So you can use any of the NFTs that you own to put them as your profile picture. In the future, we want also to provide you with some profile pictures to be unlocked through quests and other means. You also have your player profile. So we're using the data that we have on the backend, your win rate, your arch nemesis, plenty of stats that we're gonna provide. We're gonna add more and more stats to that player profile. You also in the future will be able to see other players' profile, not yours, but other players' profile as well. We plan to have, rewards with medals and other stuff that you can showcase on your player profile. So people, coming from regular games, that's a very well-known feature that we want to implement as well. Again, if you have feedback or ideas on how we should shape or, the unique capabilities of the blockchain to showcase, we can do that, and we will be glad to implement that as well. Me as an esports fan, I'm super happy about the spectator mode. So we just released that. Keep in mind, it's only version 1. There's already a couple of improvements in the pipes for future releases. So super excited about that as well. So we think it's going to help us ramp up our esports capabilities. And, for everyone that wants to spectate games, that's going to be super exciting. The mode in itself is already better than some AAA in the market. So I'm super glad and proud about that. In terms, oh, sorry, there's something flying around. That's Captain Fitz. We also developed a link between Discord and the game. So this way, it's going to create a private channel with you on Discord, and you will receive notification from the game without being, forced to be logged into the game. So whenever you have a rental that is done or starting, or you sold a ship or a card, you will receive notification. And we plan to add more game-related notification in the mix as well. So that's going to be a powerful tool moving forward.
Yeah, it's overall a version that put us at the next order of magnitude in terms of maturity of the game. It creates a lot of streamability capacity for the game, and we have now all the features in place to start onboarding, let's say, Web 2 players to Web 3, or entertain with classic means of entertainment in free-to-play games like Quest and so on. So very excited about this new release, and again, kudos to the tech team for delivering that during the summer. Well, we can tease a little bit about the new features coming, I think. Well, we have cosmetics, we have Dex archetypes. Well, what else? Achievements.
Achievements in the long run, we're looking at also like the cosmetics will be NFTs as well. We are exploring ideas around Battle Pass, where you would be able to, just by playing the game, to unlock cosmetics. We are envisioning as well solo mode, where you would get your own personal progression. There's a level of your account tied to your wallet, so you will be able to reach over 9,000 in level and brag about it. So there's a lot of things that we want to put into the game, to give you so many incentives to come back and play the game. We want the game to be super fun to play, but also to give you plenty of ways of enjoying the game. So that's the direction we're going to.
Yeah, and in terms of direction, we have an event soon in France, in Montpellier, I think, in early October. That we will meet different streamers and different Web2 players. What's the name of the event again?
It's Montpellier Streaming Show. It's the first weekend of October. They expect 20,000 attendees. So that's going to be a great way for us to see how, the regular gamers react to our games, how they feel about it, what they want to change. And we will try to see if that fits that player base, or if we still need to work on the product. But that's part of the long-term vision of Cometh. We want to be the bridge between Web 2, the regular gaming space, and Web 3. Thanks to you guys, we already have a strong player base, and we can hope that you will help us in that regard to onboard this new wave of players. Being welcoming to them. We know they don't know about the space. They don't know about the Web3 mechanics. So that will require, open arms and understanding and being empathic. Like, yeah, I understand you have some kind of dumb questions, but let's help them onboard them to the beautiful world of Web3.
Yeah, and again, if you have comments, if you have feedbacks, do start dropping them in the different channels of the Discord. And you've already started to give us feedback, like I don't like the colors of the new cards, I don't like this, I don't like this, I like this, I like that. we pay attention. We look at this and we try to respond as fast as possible when there are things that we can improve. Switching to the MAA questions, we received a lot of questions during the past few days when we announced this MAA. There is one that is about when can we expect the next card collections? Are you guys going to create different boosters for the collection? Are you going to introduce new type of resources and so on and so forth? So there's two answers to those questions. There is one answer that is the upcoming cards, because usually when we ship a new version, we also ship new cards. We are going to continue creating cards for the Genesis collection. This collection is not complete yet, but we are going to continue building on the existing mechanics in these Genesis collections, and also add new cards to the different archetypes that we have identified. So in the upcoming versions, you can expect to have new cards. I don't know if this is going to be 50 or 100, but there are new cards coming up with the future version, the upcoming version of October, and probably an upcoming version in November. And in parallel, we are also working on a new expansion, like fully new expansion with a much bigger initial set of cards. And this initial set of cards will have a new design mechanics, a new way of interacting with the different orbiters and different primitives that we created. And this new collection will be a standalone. It will be collected through resources you get in the game. So that means introducing new resources for these new standalone cards. But previous resources are also compatible with the new set of cards. We don't know yet if in order to mint, you will need to have, let's say, aluminium and not copper, or one or another, or if it's just going to be swaps between different resources. But we are definitely considering continuously giving edges to the players that come from the previous set of cards. Now, in terms of compatibility with those two sets, it's important that we extend the different mechanics and we battle test them with standalones, but we definitely plan on having tournaments that will be across sets, just to showcase the capacity of certain players to create pretty cool archetypes. I know we have a lot of really good deck builders in the community. I personally love to play against Paul because he's always creating new types of decks and imagining new crazy mechanics. As we add more and more standalone extensions, it will be harder and harder to actually balance the game. So for us, in order to create a level playing field that is welcoming for new players, when we create a new expansion, we want the players to fight against each other against this new expansion, and then players to mature, to be from amateur to heavy players, then pro. We need to get them progressively to try those new expansions. So the goal here, the design goal here, is to give an edge to existing players when we switch to a new expansions and create more and more content to enrich our game and the different mechanics of the game.
Yeah,
you have,
I'm
we good? What about the lore? Are we working on it?
Yes, we are. As you could see, like you saw a small glimpse with the destination Ikore that is tied to the Cometh lore. The upcoming tournament that we can tease today, called Eagle Nest, is right after the story about Yukore. So this is something that is a priority for us. Also, at Cometh, as a company, we plan to have one game a year. And each game will be part of the Cometh universe. So having a cohesive universe that merge all these different experiences into one, we need a strong basis for that, and the lore is definitely part of it. So this is something we're ramping up. We already have a couple of people working on that, and we just hired someone to join the team that will also spend some of their time on it. So expect more news about the lore coming soon. That's not going to be a huge tsunami, a tide just in one time, but we're going to release bits and pieces over time to keep you engaged with that.
Yeah, and there is a little surprise quest that's going to be released on Discord when it's ready, but it's going to be a great introduction to the lore. Talking about the Cometh Galaxy, we have a good opportunity here to touch base on that. some game designers, independent game designers, have been reaching out to us, wanting to build games on our Galaxy and on our asset. If you're listening to this MAA and have such an interest, please do reach out. We like to collaborate with different indie games. And we are also collaborating with external projects. The technology that we developed for Cometh is also being distributed to various games or to various projects. Today, there is a new collection launching called We Above, built by the team behind the Netflix series Arcane. We are involved. We are doing all the tech stack for them. So if things go right on this front, it will be because of us. And if things are wrong, it will be partially because of us, I guess. But if you can expect to have the Cometh lore and our activity extended to the various projects. So definitely that's one of our goal. In the early days of Cometh, we just didn't have any funding to do so, or everything was bootstrapped. We just sprinkled some ideas and so on. And now we have the chance to work with really great content writers and authors to get this lore up and running. Which, as you mentioned, we try to ship a new game a year. The idea behind shipping a new game a year is just showing how good the blockchain can be to the gaming industry. So trying to approach different type of games. We were super happy with the RTS, but just didn't put enough production time in it to make it a really great game. So we love the approach we had with RTS, and we will probably go back to this thing at some point. TCG is a great thing to showcase the capacity of the blockchain. We have many other ideas like Cometh Beyond, like the idle game that we teased you with in the previous weeks. So you can expect us to continue innovating on that, and as the team grow, as our capacity to execute grow, to continuously enrich those games and improve them. So about the future of Cometh Battle. Even if we are going to continue releasing different games, we plan on supporting this game long term. We plan on continuing creating features and creating new sets. In the short term, the very objective is to put this game in a state that is not done, but in a good state in terms of showing the game to Web2 users and at the standard of the industry in that front. And once we are done with that, to start focusing on creating more content and creating more cards and more mechanics, and then continuing to improve the game as time goes. So yes, we will continue to support the game long term, and for future games, even if they are not TCGs, we have ideas on how those games can interact with each other. Like if you have an intern mechanics, maybe it will be usable in the idle game. I don't know. Again, this is the kind of thing that our tech allows us to do, and we want to explore that for our own games and then expand that to other games that want to partner with us.
Yeah, and just to add on that, to reiterate what you just said, most of the features that we're delivering in Cometh Battle are going to be used in our other games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why this is a kind of proof that we won't let go Cometh Battle, because there's always interest for us to develop new features and new content for Cometh Battle, because interoperability. If you buy something in Cometh Battle, if you own an NFT or a card in Cometh Battle, there's a way to use it in another game of the universe, of the Cometh universe. So like for us, Cometh Battle doesn't have to be the entry point into our universe. If you're not a TCG fan, you can start with the idle game or potentially the RTS game, and at some point you're like, oh, I'm owning a ship. Can I use it in other games? And then, oh yes, there's that TCG. Oh, I can generate resources with that ship. So for us, that the interoperability means that we will maintain support for all our games.
Yeah. But supporting games means also balancing games. So what about NanoBoost? Here's a question about NanoBoost. Do we plan to balance NanoBoost or any upcoming mechanics to counter the parasites? Before answering that question, I want to reiterate on our balancing philosophy. We try our best to test internally the different cards. Of course, we can test more, but if we test more, we just delay the releases.
Yeah.
And at some point, the best test is putting that in production to a large crowd of competitive players and see what sticks on the wall and what makes just a breach in the wall. And then when we figure out that we have a card that is overpowered or is used too much, the design philosophy for us and the balancing philosophy for us would be to figure out if we can create cards that counter this mechanics at first, and then if the counter mechanic doesn't work, then come to an agreement with the community that this needs to be fixed and that we should apply option A, B, C, or D. So in the coming rounds of new cards, there are cards that are counteracting with the nano boost mechanics.
Yeah.
And the situation where nano boost is really posing a problem. Should we have completely missed our approach here, we will definitely get back to the community and create a vote on what we should apply in terms of fixing, in terms of balancing, and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to add. Pretty straightforward. And for Parasite, we also know that there's certain scenarios where it's very frustrating to play against Parasite. And again, the upcoming cards should address that problem. And if not, we'll get back to you and fix that.
Yeah. If we compare the situation of NanoBoost to other TCG, it's very often time the case that a couple of rare cards are dominant in different archetypes.
Yeah.
This is not ideal, and the ideal situation would be to at least have some archetypes that are competitive without those rare.
Yeah.
And we would love to have this kind of situation with Cometh. Nevertheless, I think we can be happy with the situation that we have at the moment, with how young the collection and the cards are. We already have a couple of archetypes, and that's good to see. Even if I'm kind of sad I lost in the final against a deck that I was prepared to face and still lost. Anyway, that's history now.
Yeah. And in terms of balancing and archetype, as Jerome mentioned, we can try to reach that holy trinity of rock, paper, scissors situation where there's at least 3 archetypes that can counter each other. The goal for a game design team is to have a higher number of archetypes that are viable at all levels of play. Because we look at all levels of play, not only the top 1% of players, but we want the game to be balanced for everyone. So that adds, not another layer of complexity when it comes to balancing.
Yeah.
But the mechanics that we're working on for the next expansion are similar to other TCGs, and that should offset the power of Nano Boost. That's our goal, without having to nerf the cards. And the new mechanics that we plan to roll out could be played with Nano Boost, but will not synergize well with Nano Boost. So that would be counterproductive to put Nano Boost and the new mechanic in one deck. So players will have to choose what they want to put, thoroughly think about what they want to achieve with their deck.
Yeah, and in 12 to 18 months, we'll have 3 different standalone sets, and it will be impossible to figure out how to best balance this. Well, we'll see. We're not there yet, but we are.
That's an issue for the team of Cometh tomorrow.
That's an issue for future us. Let's see. We have had some cheaters, some unsportsmanlike conduct, and we are acting on it.
Yeah. There's a lot of bans happening, like usually 7 days ban, and people agree about the basis of the ban whenever they open a ticket, and we explain to them what happened. This is something we want the game and the ladder to be fair to everyone, and that everyone experience is great. So we're actively working against bots and people that are trying to abuse the system. Because it also, aside from the negative impact on the games and your experience as a player, it also has an impact on the economy. And this is something that we want to monitor closely to avoid inflation or the price of the cards dropping. So this is an ongoing battle. It's cat and mouse situation where you find a fix and they find a way around what you put in place. So it's gonna last forever, but guys, we're patient. So we're suited for the long run. No issue about that. And that's in the hands of the handlers. So I'll let them do their magic, and they will find a way to squeeze these pesky cheaters.
Yeah, and if you have been experiencing the game during June, July, and you compare it with how it runs now in August and September, I think it's fair to say that the situation has gone much better. If you strongly disagree, please tell it in the chat. It was important for us to figure out how to approach that in a productive manner, like how to detect and how to start dealing with them. We have a lot of things in our arsenal yet to test against unsportsmanlike manner and cheaters, and more importantly, being able to face this situation when the game is just one game mode, like you play the game in the ladder, and we see what works and what doesn't work. It's important for us to be prepared to extend the game to different play mode and be able to have tested those anti-cheaters tools in the wild before we extend to different game modes. I want to say something about the game modes. There is something that I really want to have implemented in the short to mid-term, would be to have a draft mode, so players being able to draft against each other to organize a simple tournament with maybe 6 people, maybe 8 people. Let's see what's the easiest way to go there. But to be able to draft and to test the game in a purely constructed format, like you draft some cards, let's say 100 cards, and you have to build a deck with those 100 cards and fight against your opponents this way. That's also a great way for new players to change the game style versus starting with the base deck and figuring out what works. And before we get into serious gaming like this, we need to make sure that we can handle cheaters. So we are working on that and expect your support. Game design. Do we plan to implement a fatigue mechanic? At certain point in the game, at the beginning of their turns, the players take 1 damage. Plus 1 damage for each time fatigue has already been dealt damage to them, or another mechanic to limit the game length. So indeed, there are some TCGs that have this kind of fatigue mechanism. If the game lasts more than, let's say, 50 minutes or 2 hours, like suddenly the game starts to drag the player down. I've been playing some Warcraft in FFA mode, where the game usually take 1 hour to 4 hours, and Blizzard has not been disconnecting us, or at least not that much. But we don't plan to integrate such a mechanic yet. When we look at our data, the average game length of a game of Cometh is 19 turns. 19 turns. That's about 6 minutes and a half. And when we look at the connection length of a game, it's roughly in the same spot. So most of the game, maybe 50% or 40% of the games are at this length.
Yeah.
Which is quite small. It's a rapid, intense TCG that we are building with you. We agree that some games can last much longer, especially if people have, let's say, a deck with lots of medics, lots of healing, and are trying to control their opponent and make them surrender. There will never be a perfect solution to that, and even worse, if we start to put a fatigue mechanic, like some people will play grievers like this, like full shield, full heal, and try to kill the opponent with the fatigue thing. So before creating a new way of killing your opponent, we'd like to better work on how the game mechanics work together and how the cards themselves can limit that effect. Even with the base deck, with Arbiter supply, the card that gives you an Arbiter card from the game, it's a good way for you to find a killer card to unlock these type of situations. So no fatigue mechanic at the moment, but we are closely monitoring how much the game length on average is. And if we see like the average game length being like 25 or 30 or something, like we will start to take that subject more seriously. About the plans to release a mobile app. Well, So currently the stats are that 90% of the games are played on desktop. I personally play on my mobile. I love playing on my mobile when I'm taking the subway or things like this. It's okay. It's not perfect. I have to run the game in Opera. I have to run the game in Brave. We'll see when we get better compatibility for a landscape mode on MetaMask mobile. But if we create a mobile app, that means we need to connect the wallet inside the mobile. We need potentially to pass all the verification on Google Play Store and iOS Store. So that's a lot of constraints, which are not we're not entirely sure how much of a regulatory hassle it will be to get into that point. And for now, we are more putting our focus in terms of regulatory hassling, in terms of getting verified on Twitter, verified on Facebook, and all the social media platform. So before creating an APK, we need to make the game better. I don't think it's the priority right now for the team to go the mobile app. Like the web app is good enough, I would say. It's definitely something that we are looking at, and we have the expertise, a very strong expertise in the tech team to build this kind of app. So when we want to activate that, we will be able to do it. Just not a priority right now. And if you'd like support or install the game on the mobile, let us know. We can help. I'm playing on my mobile, and lots of people in the team are playing on their mobile as well. Oh, what about game economics? What is your vision for the free-to-play Cometh Battle? Are there any plans to earn resources without renting a ship? What do you think?
So our goal, as I said, is to create a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. So the Web 2 gamers, like the predominant business model, game model out there right now is the free-to-play model. So we're definitely going into that direction, but not the free-to-play pay-to-win scenario. It's more our mission and vision is one gameplay for all, which means that whether you're a free-to-play user or you're a Web3 player, you have the same experience, similar to what you could have on Fortnite, or for people that are playing TFT, whether you pay or not, you have the same experience and the same gameplay. So that is the goal that we set, and we're gonna create features to help onboard Web2 players and then turn them into Web3 along the way. So that will be several bridges and convertible mechanics along the way. For us, that's very important that we still maintain the Web3 part of the game and the economics, and we do not devaluate the value and kind of the investment that actual players have put into the game. So it's kind of a tricky situation where we need to stretch really thin across the board, but it's going to be a step-by-step process, and we're confident we're going to manage to find a good spot, a sweet spot where both Web2 and Web3 players are enjoying the game and the economics.
Yeah, and for example, if we do a draft format, like players coming from the Web3 space as well as players coming from the Web2 space are going to be able to play those kind of tournaments without limitations. So that's the kind of thing that we are looking at in that respect, and our presence in this Web2 centric game event in Montpellier is a first step for us to start to get to know this community. What is Cometh's stance on applying a resource supply limit? So the resource supply is based on the game activity. The more players play the game, the more resources are in the economy. The limit for the distribution of the resource means that if we come to another extension, another standalone extension of cards with new resources, the previous resources won't be emitted. So at this point, there won't be any resource in circulation anymore. What we really like to explore with that type of mechanics is that if you consider the set number A and you play for the set number A, you add resources for the set number A, you crafted card for the set number A, and then set B is now released. You can grind your cards or keep your resources that you had from set number A to convert them to resources that will be used to craft cards from set B. And if at some point like Nano Boost becomes our Black Lotus, people will be like, okay, how many Black Lotus are there in circulation? It's like 4,000 Black Lotus in circulation. How many Nano Boost are there in circulation? I don't know, 400 or something like this. If people want to get new Nano Boost, the only way of doing that will be to buy the resource on the market to craft those boosters, or to grind the cards that are from the Genesis edition, and then reprint new boosters in order to eventually open a Nano Boost. So cards that will be rare, that will have an enduring value over different sets, are going to be highlighted this way. So there is a resource supply limit, and we can limit the number. We can lower the number of resources that we distribute at some point, of course. But whenever we switch to a new set of cards with new resources, the supply will be fixed at this stage. And about the card and ship price that is slowly dripping over time, what will Cometh do to maintain those assets' value? Well, over time, yes, they are shifting in value, sometimes going up, sometimes going out, coming down. Compared to other game assets and other games, I think we can say that we are performing pretty well. The best approach to maintaining a strong peer-to-peer economy and strong value of those assets is to bring more players into Cometh, which is what we've been doing intensively in the past months. It's sometimes hard to understand how software development works. We have to package a certain number of features, package that into a release, test the release, and release the thing. So it goes step by step, and we are always getting closer to the step where we can hit mass market. Yeah, that's our goal, and that's how we want to that's what we want to do. And we rely on you and on your support to continue playing the game, giving us feedback, and introducing the games to others. And overall, historically with Cometh, we have had this philosophy of trying to have one spaceship for 3 players. We have now more players than the 3 for 1 spaceship ratio that we initially had, but we are continuing to acquire more players instead of putting more spaceship in circulation. We want to go step by step on that, and keep our early backers and early adopters happy. But do know that our incentives are well aligned with ship holders, because we are ship holders, and other people in the team members are also ship holders. This is assets that we are going to port from one game to another, and also to other games. So we're definitely keen on maintaining their value. Card floor price, very bad idea. We reinforce card floor price in the marketplace. So whenever you have a controlled prices, it pushes the people out of the market. So if suddenly we say, oh, you cannot sell a Nano Boost less than 10 Magic, someone that we want to sell his Nano Boost less than 10 Magic will sell it outside of the Cometh marketplace. So it will push players out of the premises of the game, give them bad experience, and later have them trading elsewhere. So we don't want to enforce a cloud floor price on the marketplace. We believe that this floor price will naturally appear with time. We're still very early. Like the game beta mode in public was done a couple of months ago, and let's see how this evolves over time. When should we expect the version 3 of the tube? What is its new features? So part of the team are working on the list of perks and things that you can claim from the tube. We are finalizing the specs of that, and once the spec is done, we can move forward with the implementation. Do we have plans for must benefits in other games? Yes. What are the application you envision for must in Cometh game? So must is supposed to be the currency that you use to unlock more features in the game. This is how we had to position the token in the first place. Are we happy with the current health of the must token? So when the market started to pull back in the blockchain space, the liquidity of the token started to diminish. So any big movement on the must token will push the price up or down. This is not an ideal situation, but this is a situation we have to endure until the market recover. it wouldn't make sense to push more activity on the must while the market is in such a tepid state. But the good news is that we have funding and we continue building. So we continue to add more utility to the must token, and it will always be the base currency of all of the games that we have. Do we plan to increase the booster price? What are the plans to reduce the inflation rate? I'll let you take this one.
So yeah, that's a tough one. But yes, yes, we plan to increase the booster price, and we think that the benefit as well to do that is to prevent, the inflation of resources. So this is something we're not very keen to act on it. But has to be done to maintain that economy and that the health of the economy that we try to put in place. Our goal is to be the least involved in that, but we need sometimes to do some readjustments, and that will be one of them. Final numbers are not decided yet, so we will keep you updated once we've come to a consensus internally. But do not expect, times 100 in terms of pricing, but that's more an iteration process where we will slowly increase the booster price if needed.
From an outside perspective, it may seem that okay, we have good ideas, and then we put an economy in place, and we press play, and then things are not perfect. Like, what are devs doing? Like, can devs do something? Figuring out well in advance how an economy will behave is extremely difficult, and also it's the first time we do this exercise because we are one of the most advanced game in terms of economics, with resources being transferred over between players and players, with cards being crafted and then grinded and then crafted back. So that creates a complete loop of a life cycle for a card, with the resources, the crafting, the trading, and so on. So before we can be solid and confident on having an healthy economy, it will require us to do some adjustment here and there. This is the first time we create such a set, and I think for new sets of cards and with new resources will be better and better as time go. It's also a great experiment for other games that are looking at us and trying to figure out how to reproduce the same things and try to go straight to solutions and not having to hit bumps and have to correct mistakes. But we are definitely working on that and looking at that. The things that we are very happy with right now is that Cometh is quite balanced and very fun to play.
Yeah.
And that's what matters the most at the moment. And now we still have to do some tweaking, but we'll get there. In terms of tweaking, the Cometh transaction relay is regularly being disabled due to gas price surges on the Polygon network. What are long-term plans to address that issue? Well, so first, it's great that you don't have to pay anything to get the resources in real time. It's a big piece of infrastructure to have this transaction relay working. We are also having third-party relays involved whenever we have surges in the infrastructure and so on. But it doesn't make sense for Cometh to be paying super heavy gas price when there are a lot of activity on Polygon. If you consider that you need to win 2 or 3 games before you craft a booster, it doesn't make any sense that that Cometh is paying for 3 or 4 delivery of resources through transaction cost of $1 or $2. It's counterproductive for the future of the game and the future game that we spend a lot of the budget to pay for that. Yeah. Rather than having that issue in the long run, we are considering a claim all button that will let you claim all your games at once whenever you feel like it's time to claim and it's time to craft. And also in the midterm to long term, we will definitely move to another layer where we have more control over the prices. Maybe that will mean running our own Polygon validator and being able to not pay anything when we have transaction to handle. Maybe it will mean activating the drop once a day, maybe once a week. But we are trying to figure out something that is not transaction wasting for the team.
Yeah.
when are you planning on ramping up the marketing capabilities?
So we can already reply to that answer, to that question, sorry. We are in a place, and with a couple of future releases, we feel like we're going to be in a robust state for the game. And it's going to be a question of widening the audience that we target. So right now, we mainly focus on Web3 players because most of the mechanics in games related to economics are still Web3. But the more features we add to the game, the wider the audience is going to be. So in the second time we're going to target TCG players, and third time we're going to target all types of gamers to join the Cometh universe. So we mentioned this live event we're attending. There's influencer campaign that we're going to run, advertising, PR with press to get eyeballs on our project, on our game. So this is only the beginning in terms of marketing. That was in a slow burner, but now we're gonna go full throttle and go wild, kind of YOLO in terms of marketing.
Last year in June, we tried to do a small TikTok campaign with the state of the game being really Web3 focused, and the game being this beautiful RTS fully on chain. We didn't get any conversion at all because the game was just too hard to play, too hard to onboard on, and so on. We are doing some tests at the moment, trial and errors, and figuring out what works and what doesn't work on platform on like Facebook on a very small scale, and getting better at that. It doesn't make sense to go full throttle before you have actually something that can welcome those players. There are roles open in the team for people that have marketing experience or community management or social media ideas. Do reach out to us. We like to work with our community first. And talking about community, we are looking at what other games are doing and how they are able to activate their communities and engage them to help the messages of the game resonate. This is something where we have not been very good at as well, and we like to get better at in the future. So we will count on you guys. We will continue to help us spread the word, to help us show the game and tell the world that it exists and it's great. So expect us to create some quests and to engage you on the different social media messages that we want to convey.
Yes, and to piggyback on that, we're exploring a referral program. So to give you guys incentive to bring new players to the game, you would get rewards through different milestones by bringing, let's say, 5, 7, 10 more people to the game. So this is something we want you to be part of the success of Cometh. The Cometh success is your success as well.
Oh, I see a question in the chat about people saying that they sometimes stop playing when the relay is down. If the relay is down, you can still play with the mule and improve your deck and improve your ranking. So
yeah,
something to think about if you really want to get resources when you play and don't want to play when the relay is down. Will we grant access to an API that creates tools for the community? We do have an API with several entries. It's not super duper public, but you can ask us about it.
Yeah.
As I said before, we are being approached by different game designers that want to create indie games with our tools and with our assets. If you'd like to do something like that, do reach out. We are super friendly and welcoming. If you think about different items or different things that we should add to the API, and do suggest it. We are listening to that. We are building softwares for different games at the moment, and slowly transitioning to a Cometh engine for Web3 games. This will have an API, and this will have an SDK at some point. So happy to test it with you. Happy to try it with you as well. Go Cometh Idol. We already talked about Cometh Idol? I don't think so.
Briefly.
So
yeah, we just started last Friday our internal alpha on Cometh Idol. So this is just to test the first couple of gameplay mechanics that are in the game. So we're still very early in the production for this game. We will let you know, once things are more fleshed out and tease new elements and whatnot. The complexity of this project is, as we mentioned, the interoperability between different games. So we need, in terms of game design, to thoroughly think about, okay, if I do own a rare ship on Cometh Battle, how does it translate in terms of game mechanics in the idle game? And likewise, if I do own a ship in the Comet Idle, how does it translate? Or if I do own card on the battle card game, how does they translate in terms of equipment in the idle game? So it's an uncharted territory about game design to create mechanics that are working both ways. So there's a lot of work to be still done for that, but again, open to suggestion if you guys have ideas. As I said, uncharted territories, so everyone is flying blind. And luckily for our competitors, we're pretty leading the way. We're like making the mistakes and they're like learning from them. So you're welcome, guys. But if you, our community, have ideas on how to improve the game and how to make it work, feel free to open a suggestion message on the channel on Discord, and someone from the team will read it. Every single message is read.
So we have a question in the chat about planning on landing cards. So there's a complexity around the landing cards since it means moving the cards, a lot of NFTs at once from one place to another. We are exploring technical solutions to do that. If we end up supporting landing cards, I think we will start by supporting landing cards by landing decks.
Yeah.
Instead of landing cards, you land a deck. You land a deck and you land the decks and you land the deck all at once. Yeah. Move out of Polygon. Well, if you compare the activity of the different EVM chains, not Ethereum chains, but EVM compatible chain, whether it is the different wallups, whether it is Avalanche, Near, Moonbeam, and so on. Polygon is by far the most active. From now on, the next big challenge for us is going to go from 10,000 players to 100,000 players, and I don't think we should do that on a layer that is not already leading the way in terms of scalability. Simply because if you go on a layer that is not super mature, you don't get fiat to crypto on-ramp, you don't get third-party relayers, you don't get compatibility with different wallets. Cometh is going to be features in different top-tier wallets in the coming weeks. That's the kind of thing we can achieve because we are on Polygon, not because we are on our own rollup. But this is something we definitely want to explore. We are very close to the Ethereum ecosystem at large, to the different rollups. There is a meetup at the office today with Starknet. We love optimistic rollup. We've been vocal about it in previous times. In the team, we have a great understanding about how Ethereum 2 is going to play out and how we can connect the different rollups to Ethereum 2. That's the kind of thing we are looking at. If we could dream a little bit, we will probably be the first gaming rollup on Ethereum. That's part of the plan. So expect good things on that. But right now, this is the state of the technology and the market. I definitely think Polygon is still the best solution for us right now.
Yeah, and I've seen questions around golden cards, similar to what is done in Hearthstone. The answer is yes, we're exploring that option, to increase values of NFTs. So we're still defining on how it would work, but as soon as it's kind of set in stone, we will communicate around that and try to release that in the near future.
Question for Jerome: what will you do with the prize if you? What will you do
with the prize you won?
To the prize if you won this? Oh, I'm not sure I understand the question. If I had won, what would have I done, or what will I do with the prize I won?
Well, with the prize you won, I already have the answer for that. So he's a very gracious Galactic counselor. So
that's right.
he decided to give away his prize pool for the community. So alongside with the community, we're gonna organize a small event for the prize pool that Jerome just won to be redistributed amongst the community. So keep an eye out. We're gonna announce stuff very soon. And as a reminder as well, there's the ongoing Captain Fit Pentathlon this week. It's kind of, there's an activity again today, that's day 4, and there's another activity tomorrow where there's cool prizes to win. So feel free to check out the Discord and join the activities.
So we haven't completely decided yet how it will be distributed, but one thing, I mean, there are some players that have been super duper active in having no spaceships. Personally, I'd love to reward that. So we'll see if we can just give away maybe one of the spaceships that is in the market to one of those very active guys, for example. If I had won the Galactic tournament, which I didn't, unfortunately, I would have bought a lot of spaceships. That's what I would have done. Spectator mode. What about the Gecko pilot? So you can keep the Gecko pilot as a pilot on your profile, and there's more coming up to that.
Yeah. I've checked also the Discord, and there was like no additional question in the channel for Ask Me Anything. We're getting close to the 1 hour mark. Both Jerome and I love to talk, but we also need to get back to work at some point. So I think we're gonna take 1 or more 2 questions and then peace out. But let's see, what else do we have? About a rework in the card scarcity, card fusing, for example. Yeah, we replied to that question. This is something that we're exploring right now. As soon as we have something firm, I will let you know. What else do we have? Pikachu is all in on card scarcity. Like, there's plenty of messages about that.
Well, it's great that there are plenty of ideas about that. There are topics like how should we and how should we and if so how should we balance the nano boost? That's the kind of open conversation that we need to have collectively as a community. So we already had a little exercise like this on Discord once. Let's do it again. And if a lot of players and spaceship holders and contributors are worried about the card scarcity, we can sit down and have this conversation together. We don't think we have all the answers. We think we can get all the solutions with you.
Yeah, definitely. All right, looking. We got a couple of thank you messages. Well, it's exactly 5 p.m. That's a wrap. Thank you guys for joining today, and thanks for your ongoing support to Cometh. As we said several times, it's only the beginning. We have huge plans in the pipe for the Cometh and Cometh universe. Stick around. Stay positive about the game. Help us onboard these new waves of players that are coming in the future weeks. And we will try to do that kind of exercise more regularly, just to be in touch with you guys, the community, and answer your questions. And by the way, this is live from the Cometh office. So we're just like literally 10 meters away from our working desk. But yeah, this is something we want to do more. And if you have any ideas on how, to connect with you guys in different ways as well, feel free to drop us a line on Discord. Well, thank you, Jerome. Also thank Zach. He's our video producer. He was the director of this show. So thanks to him on such short notice to transition from Discord to Twitch. The VOD will be available on our YouTube channel. If you didn't have time to listen to us rambling for an hour, you will have the possibility to do that on YouTube. Have a good afternoon, and I hope to see some of you on the ladder.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers. Bye-bye.